I've got something really awesome to share with you guys about these two little monkeys right here. I've been telling you guys for like 8 months, so I promise I'm going to eventually do it. I promise I will. Why is it that every single time I come up here, you guys are just standing around?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
There's a gentleman that follows online, by the way. Hi, if you're watching right now. He actually has always wanted to get a snake, but his wife wasn't too excited about it. And guess what? She would get in there and she'd press up against the intake, and then...
I didn't know she could do that. I think these are slugs, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is... I'm going to be stressed the next 7 or 8 years. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the vlog. Hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. Remember my little twin beautiful snakes here? This is a fire pinstripe, and this is a fire yellow belly. It's the only twin ball pythons that we hatched this year. I've got something really awesome to share with you guys about these two little monkeys right here. But first, let's head over to the Reptarium. On the agenda here at the Reptarium is actually we've got to work on the Woma python cage. It's kind of a new cage that we're going to be putting in, but unfortunately, it's not as easy as just swapping a cage out because the opening isn't exactly the size I need, so I've got to do some construction on that. Not to mention Jessica today is going to be working on the White's tree frog cage because, you know, they're super cool animals, but unfortunately the way that this cage was set up, they always hide up on the very top up there and no one even gets a chance to see them. I mean, if you're up here, it just looks like an empty cage, right? So Jessica's going to kind of redo that cage, so we have that area that's kind of filled up. They don't get up there, but then also give them a bunch of other areas to keep them kind of happy and stuff like that, because we obviously want the animals to be happy, but we want people to be able to see them and eventually kind of mess with them and stuff like that. But back to the Woma cage, again, the cage I'm putting in here is similar to this cage where it's got the front opening and stuff like that, but the actual cage itself is a lot bigger. So the first thing I have to do is take this cage out, and then I have to start to figure out what the dimension is I need to actually increase to fit the new cage in. So again, the deal is that the new enclosure goes right here, but you can see that the enclosure was made for that size. It's going to be a bigger enclosure, so I have to first measure and see what's going on. Definitely going to have to take these boards out right here, open this up a little bit, and then ultimately I may even have to open the sides, not sure yet. So let's go ahead, get a tape measure and see what kind of construction I have to do. So this is actually the enclosure that we're going to be putting in its spot. You can see it's a little bit bigger. Obviously, it's going to have doors on the front. And ironically enough, this is the actual enclosure that I've been talking about that we're going to sell. This exact enclosure here with the backdrop and everything. I've been telling you guys for like 8 months. So I promise I'm going to eventually do it. I promise I will. It's a really cool enclosure. You can put a heat panel in the bottom, lighting on top and stuff like that. Obviously, open the doors, lock them, all that type of stuff. So what we have to do is first measure all these dimensions and find out where we need the opening. Again, I think we're a little shallow this way, so I'm going to have to take a board out here. I know we have to take this out, so let's just get a tape measure measured up and start to see what we have to do. So the length of the cage is 37 inches. It looks like we have literally about 36 and a half inches here. So I don't think the cage is going to actually go in there. And then it's actually 21 this way. So I'm going to have to take this out no matter what. So I think what I'm going to do is take this out and then see if I can maybe get the cage in. If I can't get the cage in, then I'm going to have to take one of these boards out. It's going to be a lot of crazy, stupid construction. So the first thing I'm going to do is just try to get this off, get the board out behind here, and see if I can actually squeeze the cage. I mean, it's going to be like literally within 1/8 of an inch. Might be able to wedge it in there, but most likely going to have to take some of this boarding out here too. So first thing up, rip this out.
Oh, you look handsome with this light, dude.
Thank you. It's the light.
You look great.
It's not me.
No,
it's
seriously,
the
your
light.
eyes are glimmering, dude.
I figured I'd kind of bring you along for the ride. You know, Lilith, Nova's girlfriend, I guess wife now that they've had children and all, needs to kind of get a little bit fattened up here, so I brought her some little treats. Obviously, she won't eat all of this, but just kind of see if she wants, you know, a fuzzy or a pinky, see what she'd like. We're just trying to fatten her up, so I'm trying to give her extra insects, extra little pinkies, just stuff to kind of bulk her back up, so hopefully we can breed her again soon and get some more eggs. All right, well, she only took one, but one's better than nothing, and we'll check back with her in probably, you know, 3 to 4 days, see if she wants some more. You know, other than that, we'll leave insects and stuff for her to eat and see if we can get her another one of these in a few days.
All right, right, so we have the opening this way completely fine. This way, I mean, I'm not even kidding you guys. It is like a 1/16 of an inch. It either is gonna fit or not fit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get it in here, because if not, I've gotta take this board out and do a bunch of construction here. I really don't wanna do that, but I'll do it if I have to. So let's just go ahead and see if we can get this cage in here. Fingers crossed. You have no idea how relieved I am that I didn't have to do a bunch of construction on the sides, because that would have been a pain in the butt. So it did fit, I mean, just barely fit. Had to squeeze in there, that's really good. So now I just gotta put the doors on, the lock on, put some bedding in here, some decorations, get the Woma in here, and then it's awesome because now we get the Woma out whenever we want to with people. It's just another snake for people to handle. It's a super cool snake, but it was so hard to get before because you have to go behind and pull it out and stuff like that. So that only has a bigger cage, but now we can actually take it out when we're open at the Reptarium. Can I ask you guys a question?
Of course.
I'm scared.
Why is it that every single time I come up here, you guys are just standing around?
I'm so sorry.
We're not.
I'm so sorry. It's work related.
bad.
I have to
What?
just check.
Okay, well,
bad
I'm
timing.
work, so you know you can tell me what
It's
about.
kind of a
Bad
secret
timing.
project.
It's,
yeah. It's
Yeah, I was just wondering. Just wondering.
It's about cleaning the bathroom. We're gonna clean the bathroom later.
Together.
No, that's not.
I say yes.
Okay.
No, that's
All
not
right.
what we were
All right.
talking
Well,
about.
so later in the day, I'll go and check the bathroom, make sure it's real. All right. Good. All right. And then by far my favorite part is letting a snake go in its new habitat. You know, it's not a whole lot bigger, but it's definitely larger, more area. So yeah, I think she's gonna really, really like it. It's cool, you know, that's like the thing I love more than anything. And I love the way this one's set up. I mean, it looks so cool. Lots of ridges for her to climb on, a little spot over here where she can hide if she wants, a little seclusion behind the plant over there. Probably do a couple more little decorative things in here, but all in all, it went really well. I thought this was gonna be a much bigger job than it was. So I got off easy on this one, to be honest with you, but she looks absolutely wonderful in there, and now we can take her out whenever we want. So back to my twin ball pythons here. Believe it or not, I love stories like this. There's a gentleman that follows online, by the way, hi, if you're watching right now. He actually has always wanted to get a snake, but his wife wasn't too excited about it. And guess what? They just had twin babies. So congratulations to you on your twin newcomers to the family. Well, his wife actually saw the video about the twin ball pythons and said, well, we just had twins of our own, so if you're ever gonna get a snake, I think you should get those twin ball pythons. So I think that his wife is gonna actually allow him to get some snakes, and it's gonna be these two little monkeys right here. I mean, I love when stories like this happen. So not only do you have a couple new additions to your family, but you're gonna have a couple new additions to your reptile family as well. And my prediction is your wife is gonna fall in love with these guys, and she will love it. I think this is just a really cool story, how sometimes people eventually start keeping reptiles. In this case, the opportunity arose. He jumped on it. So again, congratulations on your family, and hopefully we'll be sending you these two little monkeys pretty soon. I just think the drain, especially if we have a relatively large water basin, it's going to be, to drain it would be impossible by a hose, right? Because that's what happened with Lucy, my big retic's waterfall, is that water basin that you made, Stuart, that round pond, she would get in there and she'd press up against the intake, and then the pump would just be dry. All right, thank you guys, I appreciate it. I look forward to collaborating again. All right, thanks. All right, take care, bye. Just taking care of some business on the expansion of the Reptarium. Just got off the phone with the guys down at Universal Rock, just going over all the details of there. So I think we're gonna get rolling on that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. Talked to the guy about opening up the wall to join the two buildings together. Estimate came a little bit lower, which is awesome because most things go over. So I think we're gonna start sometime in the next week or so, the demolition, and everything's rolling along, man. It's pretty exciting, nervous, scary, but it's pretty exciting. So good news, the Universal Rock guys are on board. I think they're gonna come up with some magical enclosures.
Dude, holy crap.
What's up?
I didn't know she could do that. I think these are slugs, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is an albino garter snake. Yeah, this is definitely infertile ova. Wow, that's a trip. This is actually one of the females we're raising up for the future. So she's really small, number one. We didn't breed her to anything. We haven't even brumated her. She obviously got gravid over the summertime and then just had a couple infertile ova. So what we'll do now is let's make sure we don't put that into brumation, because obviously we need some time. You know, she needs to beef back up. But that's wild when a snake does that, when it's probably a year and a half old and it just decides it's going to produce babies. In this case, it wasn't fertilized, although it could have done a parthenogenesis. But yeah, these are all just little baby.
That is so cool. She'll be ready to go.
Yeah, next year she should be good.
Awesome.
She's a beauty too.
The ones you see at zoos, they have huge water enclosures.
How big of a water feature are we talking?
I mean, I'd like to have like 1.5 feet, 2 foot deep, like almost the size of Bowser's tank. Because if they poop, we just clean it. You know what I mean? You know, I can punch a hole in the ground and have a drain right through the floor. You know, that goes to a thing, and then we have some.
How much water are you going to be wasting every time you do a water change?
Right, exactly. Well, we're definitely going to have a filter. 100%.
Yeah, if you had something good that was really pulling the water, like, you know, the whole body of water moving, you know, just instead of like...
Yeah, well, we're definitely going to need to have, like you said, some sort of a water filtration system, but then also the ability to drain it when we need to. Yeah, a lot to consider.
So cool.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider, man. There's a lot of... I'm going to be stressed the next 7 or 8 years of my life. Take a look at Maisie. Has a nice shed over here. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's going to look so good. And I don't really talk about Maisie the corn snake enough, to be honest with you. You know, corn snakes are one of the best pet snakes for sure. And look at how beautiful that animal is. I mean, after a good shed, it looks absolutely wonderful. Again, if you're ever thinking about a snake and you don't want a ball python, because I always say ball pythons and corn snakes are like the best 2 pet snakes, right? So a corn snake is a great option. I mean, you can see pretty attentive. They'll move around a little bit more than a ball python. Sometimes people say like ball pythons are like the pet rock of the snake world. I don't necessarily agree with it, because I like the fact that they're really chill. But if you want a snake that moves around a little bit more but is still super tame, doesn't get too big, a corn snake is a great example. And I certainly don't show Maisie off enough, because it's an absolutely wonderful snake.
I'm revamping our white tree frog cage. If you look in here, it's pretty simple right now. They don't really utilize anything in here except up there. So I actually want to block up there off so they can't go up there, but I'm going to put this nice piece of driftwood in so they can hang out on it. And I'll try and put some hides and stuff in there, so hopefully we can see them more. Pretty much turned this terrarium into a bioactive. So we've got our false bottom, we've got ABG, leaf litter, moss, all kinds of stuff. One of the problems we were having with this cage is it would get wet and soggy because there's a mister in here, but the water had nowhere to go. So it would start to smell like a swamp.
Oh, that's not very nice.
So hopefully now that we've got all this going on, that doesn't happen anymore, and we see them more because they don't have as many places to hide.
Since we redid the White's tree frog cage today, let's go ahead and do a species spotlight on White's tree frog. These guys can make some really good pet frogs, to be totally honest with you. They come from Indonesia, Australia, and New Guinea. These particular ones are Indonesian, and you can see that the White's tree frogs can sometimes be green, they can sometimes be almost a purple color, they can even be yellow and stuff like that. They make probably the best pet because they have like a waxy coating on them. So they're a little bit more tolerable to handling, but keeping in mind that all amphibians, you have to be really careful when you handle them. So make sure you wash your hands really good and rinse them really good, because some of the oils and stuff like that on your hand can actually harm the skin of an amphibian. But if you do decide to go with a White's tree frog, these guys will live 15 to 20 years. Typically they'll get 3 to 5 inches in length, and they actually have that really cute facial expression that sometimes are called dumpy frogs. And the fact that they have that waxy coating means that they don't need quite as much humidity as some frogs need. You still want it to be about 50 or 60% humidity in the cage, with the temperatures being about 80 to 85 degrees during the day, and you can drop down to about 72 to 76 degrees at night. And like with all amphibians, if you happen to be spraying these guys down, which you really need, which you do, and it's like with as with all reptilians, And as with all amphibians, you need to spray these guys to keep the humidity up. But keep in mind, you don't ever want to spray tap water. It needs to be dechlorinized, or these animals could actually suffer quite a bit. Regardless, white tree frogs are some of the coolest little pet frogs. They're absolutely incredible. They eat bugs, and they're super easy to care for. So if you ever want a cool pet frog, this is definitely a good option. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, can you do me a favor? And here's another video I would love for you guys to check out. Here's an entire playlist of, you know, big snakes and stuff like that I think you guys will really enjoy. Over here is the subscribe button. Could you smash that as well as turn the post notifications on? Remember to have a wonderful day. Be kind to somebody, and I promise I'll see you guys tomorrow.